Chester Alan Arthur, the 21st President of the United States, was born on October 5, 1829, in Fairfield, Vermont. He was the son of William Arthur, a preacher, and Malvina Stone Arthur, and came from a family with strong roots in the New England region. Arthur's early life was shaped by a strong educational foundation, a sense of ambition, and a belief in personal integrity. Arthur's academic journey began at the Fairfield Academy, where he displayed notable intelligence and a drive for success. He later attended Union College in Schenectady, New York, graduating in 1848 with honors. Although he studied law after college, Arthur had no initial aspirations to enter politics. He was a well-respected academic, and his education helped form the basis for his later career. In 1854, Arthur was admitted to the bar in New York, beginning his professional life as a lawyer. He developed a reputation as an effective and ambitious legal practitioner, specializing in civil litigation. As a young lawyer, Arthur was politically active in New York, joining the Republican Party as it emerged in the 1850s. Arthur's political career began in earnest in the 1860s, when he became involved in New York state politics. He aligned himself with the powerful Republican political machine known as the Stalwarts, a faction led by Roscoe Conkling. This group was dedicated to maintaining the patronage system and supporting the political influence of the Republican Party. In 1863, Arthur was appointed as the collector of the Port of New York, one of the most powerful and lucrative positions in the federal government. His tenure in this role would become a central focus of his political legacy. Despite accusations of corruption and misconduct, Arthur was known for being an efficient administrator. His success in the role enhanced his stature within the party, earning him the loyalty of Conkling's faction. Arthur's path to the presidency began with his selection as vice president on the Republican ticket in 1880. He was chosen as the running mate of James A. Garfield, a move that aimed to unify the divided Republican Party by balancing the factions. While Arthur's selection was primarily due to political maneuvering by Conkling, he was not widely known to the public at the time. In 1881, Garfield was tragically shot by an assassin, Charles Guiteau, leading to his death several months later. As vice president, Arthur became the 21st President of the United States on September 20, 1881. The circumstances of his ascent to the presidency were tumultuous, and many people doubted whether he could rise above the political machine politics that had shaped his career. Arthur's presidency began under a cloud of skepticism. As a former ally of the patronage system, it was uncertain how he would handle the growing calls for civil service reform. To many, he seemed like a representative of the old guard, willing to maintain the status quo. However, in a surprising turn, Arthur embraced reform once he took office. His administration is often remembered for its efforts to modernize the civil service and reduce corruption in the government. One of Arthur's most significant achievements was his support for the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act, which was signed into law in 1883. This legislation created a merit-based system for hiring federal employees, reducing the practice of appointing government workers based solely on political patronage. It marked a major shift in how the federal government operated and was a defining moment of Arthur's presidency. Arthur also focused on modernizing the U.S. Navy, advocating for the construction of new warships and promoting a policy of naval preparedness. His administration oversaw the expansion of the fleet, which would later play a role in America's rise as a global power. Despite these positive steps, Arthur's presidency was not without its challenges. He struggled to balance the competing factions of the Republican Party and faced opposition from both the stalwarts and the reformers. His inability to forge lasting alliances within the party combined with political infighting, limited the effectiveness of some of his policies. Arthur's health began to deteriorate during his time in office. He had long suffered from a variety of health problems, including gout, and his condition worsened over the course of his presidency. He was diagnosed with Bright's disease, a serious kidney condition which led to speculation that he might not serve out his term. By the time the 1884 election rolled around, Arthur had made the decision not to seek re-election. His health was a significant factor in this decision, but so was the recognition that he faced significant challenges within his own party. The Republican Party chose James G. Blaine as its candidate, and Arthur did not actively campaign for the nomination. After leaving the White House, Arthur retired to New York City, where he lived quietly for the remaining years of his life. He continued to suffer from ill health and passed away on November 18, 1886, just a few years after leaving office at the age of 57. Chester A. Arthur's legacy is often overshadowed by the more dramatic presidencies that came before and after his. Yet his time in office marked an important turning point in American politics, particularly in the area of civil service reform. His decision to champion the Pendleton Act, despite his previous ties to the patronage system, demonstrated a commitment to a more efficient and fair government. Arthur's presidency also stands out for its focus on modernization and reform, particularly in the military and the civil service. His efforts to reduce corruption and promote professionalism within the government are seen as significant achievements that helped shape the future of American politics. Despite the initial doubts about his ability to lead, Arthur proved to be a capable and pragmatic president who rose above the political environment of his time. Today, Chester A. Arthur is often remembered as a president who, despite his humble beginnings and a career steeped in political machine politics, left a lasting impact on the United States through his reform efforts and his dedication to improving the federal government.